Hi, Jatin. Thank you so much for giving us your time and interviewing with us. For the viewers, may we request you to please share your journey and your story in your own words?
Right, of course. Hi, I am Jatin. I am a chartered accountant from India. Of course, I qualified in 2014. I carry about 7 to 8 years of experience. And after having worked with my own practice for over 5 years, I reached a place where I felt that I had achieved what I set out to do in my practice and that it was time to take the next step, which in my head was to move into consulting. And the bridge from where I am into the consulting business was an MBA.
Right.
And so that's where the whole thought of um, starting to prepare for an MBA for the GMAT and then writing the exam, going through the application process and everything, that's where it all started. And I will now be joining the class of 22. I have a
Amazing.
few offers. I have not yet decided. I mean, I've locked down a few offers right now because I haven't decided which one I'm going to join. But yeah, um, but in a good place at this point. I mean, I am going. That's exciting.
That's amazing. And it's quite inspiring how, after already making a successful career as a chartered accountant, you wanted to do more. And then you plan to do something at this stage of life, which is very, very inspiring. So, in your opinion, what are a few factors or actions that you took made all the difference?
Well, first and most important is you need to realize how badly you want something because have as I said, I've been working for many years, and it's a huge decision to decide to pull yourself out of the workforce and then go into student life again. So that's going to be a very difficult decision to make.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to be really sure that you really want to do this.
All
That's
right.
the first thing. Second, I mean, the pandemic sort of helped a little bit because there was a little bit more time on my hands, and so I was able to spend some time thinking about what I want to do next and zero in on my goals. Because when you start into the MBA application process, I mean, even if you've decided that you're going to do an MBA, the why of an MBA takes a long time to articulate, and it takes a lot of time to zero in on what exactly your goals are, what you want to do, because schools want to know what you want to do, and schools want to know how you fit into their whole program. So to do that, I think it's a very good idea to start as early as you can.
All right.
I mean, yeah, I started considering the idea in wow, it's been a year, in February of 2021. And we were right at the end of round two applications back then, and some schools were then taking round three, which is I didn't know much about the process. And so I thought maybe I'll apply to round three right away. And I realized that that's not plausible at all.
Right.
And it takes you quite a bit of time to
Mm-hmm.
plan everything out. So most importantly, just start as early as you can. Start working on your goals, and zero in on what you want to do, because that's the most important component of the application, in my opinion.
All right. Okay. So, with the benefit of hindsight, what are a few other mistakes you think you might have committed in the process?
Well, the first mistake I committed was to take the GMAT very lightly. I I went by the website, the GMAT website, and MBA.com says, oh, it's easy and it's just high school level and graduate level math and English, and you can do it. We'll send you our
Mhm.
the original, the official guide, and just study from the official guidance.
All right.
And so I took them at their word, and I started to work. I bought the OG and I started studying with it, and I got through a little bit, and I was like, okay, so this is fine, I can do this. And then I went through the final exam, and I scored a dismal 570. And then it sort of hit me, okay, so this requires real preparation.
Mm-hmm.
And that sort of changed the whole process for me, though, once I realized that, okay, so this needs actual real preparation. First mistake, underestimating the GMAT. Second mistake, thinking I could get the whole thing done by myself. Third mistake that I made was to not start thinking about goals and everything very early in the process, because it puts that much clarity in the mind of the applicant or the consultant by the time you reach the point where you're writing your essays and submitting your applications. And a lot of applications will specifically ask you what your goals are, and they'll have separate topics for essays.
Mhm.
So that goal statement has to be articulated, and it always helps if you have like a lot of clarity, because you're trying to make sure that your goals are in alignment with what the school's offering, and it will not happen if you don't actually passionately feel about what you want to do,
Mhm.
because they're going to see through it in your essay or in your interview when they speak to you. You have to be able to communicate that this is what you really want to do.
Right.
So yeah, start thinking about that early.
All right. Okay. So going back to your GMAT preparation phase last year, what were the main resources that you used, and what tips would you give to the future GMAT aspirants?
Right. So for the GMAT, what I decided to do after my 570 score was to first research a good GMAT prep program. So I actually have a friend who had taken the GMAT course from Experts Global earlier, and he recommended, just go with their course. It's a good course. So I went on to GMAT Club, and I saw that there were like a bunch of things there. And so I signed up for Experts Global, and that with the extension, it gave me like an additional test series, etc., on GMAT Club, as well as like a couple of other places to practice.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's how I started about doing, and they give you sort of like a whole study plan. There's a fast track study plan, like a crash course. There's also like a better pace plan that you can go through. And I think that was very helpful because it's sort of just, it's already there for you. All you have to do is just log into your screen and start studying. And because the lessons are all recorded and it's available whenever you want it,
Mm-hmm.
from that point of view, it becomes really easy to just pace it out according to your own schedule. You can do it in the middle of the day, in the middle of the night, whenever you want. But like, it's very important to have consistency.
Mm-hmm.
When I spoke to, forgetting the name, I spoke to someone from Experts at that time about how to go about it, because I didn't have like a lot of time for round one because I did not start early enough. So he said that, it's very important, more than how much you do, it's important how often you sit and practice. And it's very important that you practice a little bit every day. So that's something that helped me a lot, certainly. Because, you learn a concept, and then if you don't practice it for a week, then you'll forget it and you won't be able to take the question in the exam.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So daily practice is important. Figure out a good course for yourself and take it on at your own pace, but start early so that you've got time to not panic about the exam at the end. It takes about, I'd give an average person about 3 months to prepare for the GMAT
Mm-hmm.
to do reasonably well in it. And unless you're like really smart and can just do it in a month, I don't like you. But other than that, most people take about 3 to 6 months, depending on how much time they can give. And so from that point of view, I think start early. It's the first thing that one needs to prepare for, and just do it. And some schools also ask for the TOEFL. So I will also recommend to start thinking about the TOEFL side by side as well, because it's a completely language-based exam, and you're anyway learning verbal for GMAT, so you might as well just get your TOEFL done with as well
All right.
in that same time frame. That's basically what I did. I just when I booked my GMAT, I also booked the TOEFL, and I just got them both done.
Oh, that's awesome. So, what would you like to say about your experience and learnings from managing your application timelines?
Right. So the application timeline, first, for those of us from India who are applying to go abroad for management courses, it's very important to know that you must apply in round 1 or 2. You can't go later than round 2, because you have to give yourself time for the visas and everything. And also, by the time you reach round 3, a lot of schools will already have filled most of their classes, and so they'll be looking for specific profiles to fill the remaining 5-10 seats. So you always have a better chance in the early rounds. Round 1 always has the best chance because it's the first round. It's the round where most of the applications go in, and it's also the one where the whole class is open. So they're going to evaluate like a lot of different profiles.
All right.
Secondly, I think, as I said earlier, start GMAT as early as you can. Round 1 deadlines usually fall in like September, October, and give yourselves 3 months at least to work on the application for that, because it's a lot. And some of us want to do more than 5 applications. It takes a lot out of you. If you're doing it while you're working, it becomes important to give yourself enough time. So 3 months at the very least before the round 1 deadline, and before that you have to do your GMAT. So start as early as you can is what I recommend everyone.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure like your suggestions are going to help a lot of other future aspirants. So, would you like to share more details about your interview experience with the B schools?
So I think one thing a lot of us really are scared about is what the interview is going to be like. In my experience, I've done a few, and the interviews are very conversational for the most part. There will be, I mean, the top schools sometimes do like a little bit of a difficult interview situation sort of a thing, but then they're the top school. So they get to do whatever they want. But most schools they have like a very nice conversational sort of a thing where they ask you all the general questions about what are your goals, tell us a few things about yourself. How do people around you know you? How do you work? How do you learn? Why our school and how you plan to finance it? It's just things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But because it's a conversation, it is very important that it goes both ways. So always have questions ready to ask the interviewer as well. It's very important that, the conversation goes both ways. So you have to be curious about the program. You have to ask them things as well. And you have to make sure that you are informed about the program as well. Because questions cannot be, like, don't let it be something that you could just have found out on their website, right? Like, don't ask them what specializations they have because that's available on their website. Go and ask them something specific, like something about student life, something specific to your own situation there, something that only someone who is within the program right now would be able to help you with. And also, the interviewer may not be an expert on the academic program itself. So try not to ask specific niche questions for within the curriculum. Ask more general life-based questions and experience-based questions that someone there would just, know, but it's not something that they publicize on their website.
Okay. So, what would be your final message and suggestion to all the GMAT aspirants watching this video?
GMAT, as I said, we often tend to underestimate the difficulty of the program. Don't do that. Start early. Take as many mock tests as you can because it becomes important to gauge your abilities and then to figure out how much preparation you actually need. So do that. Start as early as you can. Also, it's not the end all and be all of an application because as all schools will tell you, they look at the whole profile holistically. And so the GMAT it's not like it's the most important aspect of your application. It's given a lot of weightage because it's the only aspect that you can change now because you can't change your undergrad scores. They are what they are. And don't worry about getting like a 790 or an 800 unless you want to go to Harvard or someplace. But other than that, mid 700 is great. And even like 650 above is fine because it falls into most schools' average GMAT ranges. But then evaluate your whole profile as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Spend time on figuring out what your profile is, how you stand out. Because if there is no way that you think that you stand out, be it in your undergrad scores, be it in your background, be it in your goals,
Mm-hmm.
then it becomes important to shine in the GMAT because maybe that's where you will stand out, right? So that evaluation has to be done when you start in the processes at the beginning of the process itself. And yeah, start as early as you can.
Oh, okay. That's great. And thank you for sharing so many of your suggestions with us. And also, like, we really look forward to knowing about your MBA experience soon. And all the very best for your future. And thank you for giving us your time and sharing your inspiring journey and teaching us how coming out of comfort zone is so important in life to be able to actually try out new things and grow in life. So thanks a lot.
You're very welcome. And I'm open to whenever else you want to speak again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we really look forward to doing that again soon. Take care.
You as well. Great talking to you as well. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a good night.